Haven't had any precipitation in the last few weeks, months, so all that fuel is extremely dry out there.
New fires break out just as strong Santa Ana winds return. Crews fighting the flames and preparing for the next threat that could potentially compound Southern California's problems.
I'm issuing an executive order to shore up burn areas and stem the flow of toxic debris.
And good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. Tonight, crews in San Diego County are dealing with 3 new brush fires. The Friars Fire started this afternoon, and it briefly forced evacuations in a densely populated part of San Diego as it burned on a hillside near homes and a mall. No structures were lost in this fire, but a city council member says the 3-acre fire may have caused some minor damage to some apartments. This fire is fully contained tonight, but crews are monitoring hot spots. And early this morning, the Pala fire broke out east of Camp Pendleton, prompting some temporary evacuation orders. The fire burned about 17 acres, and it's fully contained tonight. And just a few miles away, San Diego County's largest fire continues to burn tonight. The Lilac fire is forcing evacuations near close to 100 homes and businesses. That fire started around 1 o'clock this morning, growing quickly to roughly 85 acres. 2 structures have been damaged here. Authorities at this point have not said if those were homes. Firefighters say the return of powerful Santa Ana winds is a serious challenge.
Haven't had any precipitation in the last few weeks, months, so all that fuel is extremely dry out there.
The Lilac fire stands at 50% contained tonight, and investigators are working to figure out how all 3 of those fires may have started. We turn now to the Los Angeles area, and tonight the county medical examiner says 28 people have now died in the Palisades and Eaton fires. More evacuees were allowed to return to their neighborhoods earlier today, but as crews make progress fighting those fires, authorities now are concerned about rain in the forecast. Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf shows us how first responders are rushing to stabilize charred hillsides.
A new threat emerging in LA areas devastated by the deadly wildfires.
We have to prepare for a potential change in weather.
LA Mayor Karen Bass urging workers to clear burn sites ahead of possible rain expected this weekend.
I'm issuing an executive order to shore up burn areas and stem the flow of toxic debris.
At least 2 homes in Pacific Palisades already impacted by landslides, including this one split in half.
We already have barriers proactively in place, and K-rail and other barriers are being put up throughout areas of concern as we speak.
Officials trying to prevent all of this fire debris from flowing into the ocean.
Be able to divert that into the sewer so it could be clean versus having that toxic stuff go into the ocean.
Gas crews hard at work in the Highlands fixing lines.
This is the entranceway here.
While some residents return home for the first time.
Shocking. We have been here for 35 years, and we love the place. Had a great view.
Barry Pattamore showing us what's left of his home, much different than how it looked just over 2 weeks ago.
And then we had this expansive view of the water and the mountains, which we enjoyed every day. So we got to be thankful for what we had.
So many homes like Barry's destroyed across the Palisades. Fire crews still putting out hot spots, making sure no more are lost.
Especially with a red flag day to day, making sure nothing else rekindles and, have a repeat incident.
And that was Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf reporting tonight. A red flag warning is in effect for a large swath of Southern California through this Thursday. These are live EarthCam images tonight showing us the conditions in Santa Monica. And if you look closely at this shot here showing us the amusement park there at the end of the pier, you see those flags up there really whipping in those winds tonight. This is one of the areas where that red flag warning is in effect. For more, let's bring in KTVU meteorologist Mark Tamayo, who is tracking the return of those strong strong Santa Ana winds this week and the weather conditions across the west. Hey, Mark.
Hi there, Alex. Yeah, those winds really picked up earlier today, and we still have the red flag warning in place, as you mentioned, right on through Thursday. You can see the containment numbers. This is amazing, though. Even with the challenging conditions, these containment numbers have been going up quite a bit. Palisades fire now is up to 65%, so that is a nice development. But all these areas under a red flag warning, as you can see, from parts of Ventura County into Los Angeles County, approaching parts of San Diego County as well. As we take a closer look here, that red flag warning until 8 p.m. Thursday. Winds for the higher peaks could be gusting over 50 miles an hour, so they have kind of been backing off. They're expected to pick up once again as we do move into your Wednesday. Here is the forecast model. Once again, we have that defined wind out of the northeast picking up throughout. This is 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, and then still a big factor during the afternoon hours. So stronger, dry winds. I should mention relative humidity values, it's very low, down to right around 2%. So extremely low. That factoring in with those gusty winds, and of course, no rainfall in Southern California. Their fire season continues. This was Los Angeles today. Temperature of 71 degrees in the San Francisco Bay Area. Lots of sunshine out there. We have some very cold temperatures for the San Francisco Bay Area forecast for tonight into tomorrow morning. And then up in Seattle, lots of blue sky to show you, a temperature of 43 degrees this afternoon. So here's the satellite where it is fairly quiet, as you can see here, although we do have some clouds moving into portions of Colorado for this evening. And current numbers, that chill is really settling in. Right now it's 37 in Seattle, San Francisco's 54. Las Vegas currently in the lower 40s at 43 degrees. And as we check out this, you could have an assortment of frost advisories and freeze warnings up in the North Bay of the Bay Area here, parts of Oregon, and also out in parts of Arizona. We're talking about some very cold temperatures as well. So here is the plan for tomorrow for your Wednesday. Lots of sunshine for Seattle, clear skies for San Francisco, increasing clouds for Denver, and then we'll have more sunshine for Phoenix. And Los Angeles could be approaching the 70s for tomorrow afternoon. And once again, they have the red flag warning that continues right on into Wednesday and into Thursday. In the short term, we're just tracking some clouds moving into Southern California and also up in the Seattle area for tomorrow evening, for Wednesday evening. And as you can see, over the next 3 days, a mixture of sun and clouds up here for San Francisco, temperatures in the 60s. It is warm for Los Angeles, those readings in the 70s. Out toward the Denver area, increasing clouds, mainly in the 30s for tomorrow, and then 60s, maybe approaching the 70-degree mark in the Phoenix forecast. So overall, dry conditions, but we'll keep an eye on a system that's going to move in from the north, and that could bump up some rain chances in Southern California around the fire zones as we do head into the weekend.
All right, that sounds good.
Yeah.
We'll keep tracking it. Mark, thank you. And to stay on top of the fire threat updates and the recovery efforts that are ongoing in Southern California, head to our website, which is westcoastwrap.com. Our online coverage there also includes the details on the urgent calls for blood donors in the aftermath of those recent fires. We have the links there to information that you need to donate to the Red Cross. Tonight, nearly half of U.S. states are wasting no time pushing back against President Trump's plan to end birthright citizenship in this country. Hawaii, Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, Arizona, Colorado, and New Mexico are all the western states involved in these new lawsuits over the president's bid to eliminate that right. California Attorney General Rob Bonta says the president's executive order on this issue is unconstitutional, and he believes in overreach of power.
Birthright citizenship should not be up for debate. Of course, to Trump, law and order, judicial precedents, constitutional rights have little bearing. He does what he wants to do when he wants to do it, how he wants to do it, regardless of the law, unfortunately. In California, we won't allow that.
Oregon, Washington, and Arizona are part of a similar lawsuit that's now been filed. Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays spoke earlier today and said the order is a violation of the 14th Amendment.
As I said after the election, I will not allow Donald Trump to shred the United States Constitution. This executive order has nothing to do with national security or protecting American jobs. At its core, it is, at its core, a complete rejection of the American dream and the values that have served as the bedrock of our great nation.
Tonight, Fox 13's Alejandra Guzman shows us how this legal battle with the Trump administration will be a first test for Washington's newly sworn-in Attorney General Nick Brown.
We want to have a nice life, have our families come home, go to work, come home, and enjoy life.
That's what most migrant families want, a chance to have the American dream.
But it wasn't meant for us. That's the sad part.
It's a mix of sorrow and frustration as a country that once promised a fresh start has seemingly turned its back on migrant families.
Donald John Trump do solemnly swear.
Day one, Trump's priority is to redefine what it means to be an American, abolishing the 14th Amendment.
We're the only country in the world that does this with Birthright, as you know. And it's just absolutely ridiculous, but, we'll see. We have very good grounds.
My parents came here with the promise of an American dream, the promise of freedom, of democracy.
This is personal for Monica, a first-generation American born to Mexican migrant campesinos, agriculture workers. The exact scenario Trump's executive order would deny citizenship to.
Birthright citizenship is the law of the land, and that no executive can simply undermine that foundational American principle because he doesn't like immigrants. And that is what has happened here.
6 days after being sworn in as Washington State Attorney General, Nick Brown has filed a multi-state suit against President Trump, calling his executive order unconstitutional, cruel, and un-American, saying it violates the immigration law of 1940.
Let's focus on the people. There are people who will be born here in this state in the coming days, in the coming weeks, in the coming months, who will no longer, if this attempt or this order took effect, would no longer be considered citizens of the United States of America.
Brown's case was joined by Oregon, Arizona, and Illinois. It parallels the broader 18-state lawsuit filed in Massachusetts over the 14th Amendment order. Brown says he's not worried about multiple cases. He believes this will be beneficial, showing the impact and harms across the country, especially here in Washington, as it will impact you, taxpayers.
And it would harm the state of Washington, citizens included, by putting a tremendous new financial burden on us, on the taxpayers here in Washington, to fund all these vital services that the federal government now helps provide.
And that was Fox 13's Alejandra Guzman reporting for us tonight from Washington. Now, earlier we spoke with Bill Hing, a professor of immigration law at the University of San Francisco, about the legal battle ahead.
I don't think that this is going to be very difficult for the courts to resolve pretty quickly in favor of the children who are born here.
Hing also expressed concerns about the Trump administration lifting a Biden-era policy that had prevented federal agents from arresting migrants at sensitive sites such as churches, schools, and hospitals. Investigators call it an organized crime takedown. Coming up tonight on West Coast Wrap, the details on the dozens of arrests that were made here in the West, all of those suspects with alleged ties to Mexican cartels. Plus, California's wildfires have more people thinking about ways to protect their homes from future disasters. We'll break down what builders say you can do. During his first full day in office, President Trump set his focus on artificial intelligence, announcing billions of dollars to build AI infrastructure.
But it'll ensure the future of technology. What we want to do is we want to keep it in this country. China is a competitor and others are competitors. We want it to be in this country, and we're making it available. I'm going to help a lot through emergency declarations because we have an emergency. We have to get this stuff built. But it's technology and artificial intelligence, all made in the USA. Beginning immediately, Stargate will be building the physical and virtual infrastructure to power the next generation of advancements in AI.
This private sector investment, called Stargate, is a joint venture between Bay Area companies OpenAI, Oracle, and Japanese company SoftBank. The company's committed to investing $500 billion over the next 4 years to, among other things, build data centers here in the U.S. for powering AI. Also today, President Trump met with the leaders of the Republican-controlled Congress, Speaker Mike Johnson and Senator John Thune, about his priorities, including trying to expand his 2017 tax cuts. Senate Democrats are critical of Trump's sweeping actions.
On day one of his presidency, it's clear Donald Trump's golden age is not for the working and middle class. In fact, it's a golden age for special interests, for wealthy elites, and for corporate executives of big corporations.
Within hours of taking office, the president also revoked U.S. service protection for his former national security advisor, John Bolton. Bolton's life had been threatened by Iran. Trump also took executive action to start revoking the security clearances of Bolton and other intelligence officials, including former Secretary of Defense Leon Panetta. The order targets officials who signed a letter claiming emails found on Hunter Biden's laptop had the hallmarks of Russian disinformation. In Las Vegas, a judge today denied a motion to dismiss charges against the man accused of orchestrating the murder of Tupac Shakur. Prosecutors say Dwayne Davis ordered the deadly drive-by back in 1996, something Davis has admitted to in interviews and his own memoir. Davis's attorney argued that aside from his admissions, there is still a lack of other evidence, but the judge ruled it was a clear crime. Davis's trial is set to proceed on March 17th. Hip-hop star A$AP Rocky turned down a final plea deal today in his felony firearm assault case. Rocky is accused of shooting a gun at a former friend near a Hollywood hotel back in 2021. The plea deal would have required Rocky to spend 180 days in jail, but he told the judge he respectfully declined. A$AP Rocky's attorney says their defense plans to call witnesses who can testify that a gun seen in a security video was just a prop he carried for security. Jury selection for the trial has already begun. If convicted, A$AP Rocky is facing up to 24 years in prison. Authorities in San Diego say a 6-month-long investigation has led to the arrests of 39 suspects, all linked to a prison gang with ties to Mexican cartels.
These criminals took orders from cartel bosses operating in state prison and preyed on business owners by forcing mafia-style taxes. They dealt illegal drugs, including pounds of deadly fentanyl, committed widespread violence, and trafficked weapons such as ghost guns and AR-15s.
Prosecutors say those arrested have been linked to at least 1 murder and 2 attempted murders. 7 of the defendants being charged are already in custody for other crimes. Attorneys for the man accused of murdering 4 University of Idaho students want some of the evidence in the case thrown out. Fox 13's AJ Janavel got some insight on the case from a legal analyst.
Violation of Brian Kohberger's Fourth Amendment rights, which protect us against unreasonable searches and seizures. That's why the accused murderer's defense attorney is asking for the judge to throw out a majority of the evidence in this case. Kohberger's attorney says police illegally obtained the alleged killer's DNA through genetic genealogy, as well as illegal evidence from his digital history, including his cell phone data, placing Kohberger at the scene of the murders a dozen times before the actual killings.
In this case, it was, of course, enormously important because that's how they identified Kohberger.
Legal analyst Ann Bremner tells me if the judge sides with the defense, the results will be pivotal.
It's like a house of cards. I mean, this fails, everything fails, and the case is gone.
Bremner tells me the odds of this actually happening are slim.
What we've seen in the courts so far is we haven't seen a successful challenge to the validity of that type of analysis or science.
Bremner says the defense may be fully aware their challenge of the evidence won't go far, but that's not the only reason an attorney raises these concerns.
What they want to do is poke holes at everything in the case.
Bremner tells me even if evidence makes it into the trial, raising early doubts can plant a seed into a jury's mind or have lasting impacts after the verdict.
Every little thing and every big thing that you raise, you have to think about an appeal. Like, when we may lose this, but that's an appeal. You know, this was a good issue, and we may not win on that, but it's an appeal.
And that was Fox 13's AJ Janavel reporting tonight. A hearing on the DNA debate in this case is scheduled for this Thursday. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, there's growing interest in fireproofing homes after California's devastating wildfires. Coming up tonight, builders lay out what they're telling homeowners to do to prevent disasters in the future. Plus, police in Oregon searching for the suspects who smashed windows and spray painted an elections office. What authorities say may have motivated the vandalism. Tonight, police in Portland are searching for the people who vandalized an elections office, smashing more than 24 windows and 2 doors. Authorities say anti-government graffiti was also spray painted on the Multnomah County Elections Office. The damage was discovered yesterday morning, and crews were called in to repair those broken windows and doors. Police tonight are looking for as many as 10 different suspects who were all caught on surveillance video. Well, as we told you earlier in the show, thousands of evacuees in Southern California are now returning to their homes, some of which survived the wildfires. As Fox 11's Haley Winslow explains, a growing number of homeowners now are looking for ways to protect their home from the next disaster.
As displaced residents still reeling from the wildfires start to think about a rebuild, we spoke to experts in fireproofing homes. CEO of IR Architects Ignacio Rodriguez is a pro at it when it comes to architecture and interior design. As Skyfox flies over the Palisades in Malibu, 8 of the 9 homes IR Architects is responsible for survived.
The windows and doors are probably your biggest vulnerability because once fire gets in your house, you know, your couches, your rugs, your drapes, your linens, everything is going to catch on fire. So you really got to try to keep the fire outside. And that's where windows and doors are extremely important.
Also paramount, your yard.
Make sure like your furniture, your outside furniture, your yards are clean. Not just from leaves and stuff like that, but like the sofas, the chairs, any toy structures, anything like that has to be away from your home.
Honor Topku is president of U Stucco, called the industry's first and only fireproof stucco.
I think I was a little bit angry, because this is something I've been doing a little over 20 years. If we had products like ours or other non-combustible products, this fire wouldn't grow and expand as fast as, we witnessed.
Debunking the skeptics, U Stucco put their product to the ultimate test about a year ago when SoCal Edison approached him to simulate a real-life scenario. Even the fire marshals on standby were blown away by the results. They ignited 2 identical homes 8 feet apart. After an hour in 16 to 1800 degree heat, Structure A turned to ashes. Structure B, as you can see, fared just fine. The only difference, the home on the left was covered in their product, even the roof and eaves.
The temperature on the inside of the house didn't exceed more than 89 degrees Fahrenheit, which is amazing. It feels like a warm, summer day.
U Stucco also quickly cools, and it's environmentally friendly with no toxic chemicals. Future possibilities that could save your home and life in the next wildfire. Haley Winslow, Fox News.
All right, finally tonight, you can pay for your JetBlue flight using Venmo. The airline says Venmo is available to U.S. customers on the JetBlue website, and it will also be added to the mobile app here in the coming months. PayPal, which owns Venmo, says the option will help groups to manage those shared travel costs. And that does it for West Coast Wrap tonight. We appreciate you watching as always. And a quick reminder before we go that you can stay up to date on all the big stories we are covering across the West at our website. That's westcoastwrap.com, and stream our shows for free by downloading the free Fox Local app. Have a great rest of your night. We'll see you back tomorrow.